Glazed maple pecan oatmeal scones. These are delicious. Chop some pecans and add them to the rolled oats on a baking sheet. These pecans are special. They were a gift from my sister Linda, who lives in Georgia. They are delicious. You're going to put that in the oven to toast. And meanwhile, you're going to take 10 tablespoons of butter and put it in the freezer to let it get really hard. Crumple up a piece of parchment paper and put it on another baking sheet. That way, if you crumple it up, it won't curl up and do all the crazy things it does when you try to get it to lie flat. Once the oats and the nuts come from the oven, take 2 tablespoons of that mixture and set it aside in a little bowl. You'll use that later down the road. Let that cool. Oh, I have to show you this tea towel my sister Trish made. She sews like nobody's business. All right, now we're going to do the wet ingredients. We have milk, heavy cream. We have an egg and some maple syrup. If you'll put hot water in the measuring cup before you measure out the maple syrup, it won't stick in the container. It's a nice little trick to know. Whisk those wet ingredients together and then get another little bowl out and reserve 1 tablespoon of that mixture. We're going to use that to glaze the scones before we bake them. Now it's time for the flour mixture, flour and baking powder and salt. And then you get that frozen butter out of the freezer and you use a cheese grater. I use the large holes and just grate the butter right in rather than using a food processor. Gently toss that with your hands and then add the cooled oats and nuts and toss that with your hands. And then you're ready for the wet ingredients. Pour that in and using a spoon, just gently stir the mixture just to combine. You don't want to overmix it or they'll be tough. Prepare the surface that you're going to roll them on. I use a little dusting of flour, and then I use half of the oats and nuts that I've reserved, that little cup, half of that down, and then pour out your clump of scone batter. And it will look all gnarly in it, but it'll just come together great. You won't have to worry about it. Pour that out, kind of pat it into a 7-inch round circle, about 1 inch thick, and sprinkle the top with those rest of the reserved oats and nuts. And then use a sharp knife and cut it into 8 triangles and put them on the parchment paper on that cookie sheet you have prepared. And then you have that 1 little teaspoon of the wet mixture yet that you've reserved. Take a pastry brush and brush the tops of the scones with that. And then take either turbinado sugar, some kind of crunchy sugar if you have it, and sprinkle it on top. And if not, just plain white sugar works as well. Sprinkle that on top and then bake them. And they'll come out all nice and brown. And then you, of course, have to have a maple powdered sugar glaze. Stir that up and drizzle it over the top while they're still just a little warm. Oh my gosh, they are just fabulous. All crunchy and textured. I think I'll have another one.